The unfinished ledger. Months passed, and Evergrove settled into an uneasy calm. Yet Sheriff Eliza Moore couldn't let go of the case. Colin's glasses sat on her desk, a grim reminder of her failure. She spent her nights scouring maps of the forest and rereading every scrap of evidence, searching for answers that refused to come. Then, on the eve of another full moon, a new clue surfaced. A hiker stumbled upon a rusted tin box buried at the edge of the clearing where Eliza had last seen the figure. Inside was a leather-bound ledger, its pages yellowed with age. Each entry was a name, a date, and an item corresponding to the stolen objects and the missing individuals. The final pages, however, were blank, save for the faint impression of a name pressed into the paper. Eliza Moore. Eliza's blood ran cold. She wasn't just an investigator anymore. She was the next target. Refusing to succumb to fear, she resolved to confront the collector head-on. She assembled a team of trusted deputies, equipped them with floodlights and tracking equipment, and ventured into the woods as the moon began to rise. This time, the forest felt alive with malevolence. Shadows stretched unnaturally long, and whispers seemed to emanate from the trees themselves. As the team advanced, their floodlights revealed a trail of freshly disturbed earth, leading to a cave hidden beneath a canopy of twisted roots. Inside, the air was thick with dampness and decay. The walls were etched with crude drawings that told a story of betrayal and vengeance. At the cave's center was a makeshift altar, upon which rested the objects taken from the victims. Surrounding the altar were skeletal remains, their bony hands clutching at the air as if in eternal agony. And then he appeared, the collector. His form was no longer entirely human. His body seemed to flicker between solid and shadow, his hollow eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "You should not have come," he intoned, his voice reverberating like the toll of a bell. Eliza stepped forward, her weapon raised. "This ends tonight." The collector smiled, a ghastly expression that sent shivers down her spine. "You cannot end what you do not understand," he said. With a wave of his hand, the cave plunged into chaos. The walls seemed to close in, and the altar erupted in a blaze of spectral fire. Eliza's team shouted, their voices lost in the cacophony. But Eliza held her ground. She noticed a symbol etched into the altar, identical to one she'd seen in the ledger. Acting on instinct, she reached for the book and placed it on the altar. The fire surged, then died out, leaving only silence. When the smoke cleared, the collector was gone. The objects on the altar had turned to ash, and the skeletal remains had crumbled to dust. Eliza and her team emerged from the cave, battered but alive. The ledger, now empty, disintegrated in her hands as they stepped into the moonlight. The disappearances never resumed, but the legend of the collector lingered. Eliza knew she'd come face to face with something beyond her understanding. Though the case was closed, she couldn't shake the feeling that the debt had merely been postponed.